Going live. Going live. They're telling my followers that what's up, Jeremy, in the place to be. Do you know me? What's up? What's up? I am Seed. Pleasure, guys. So today, what's up, Gina Madrid? What up? Okay, guys. Josh, Greg36, aka Good Morning, Scotsman. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Today we are joined by the incredible, talented, dangerous man, Urijah Faber. What's up, Brett, man? When did I realize I wanted to take on art as a living? Kind of since I was a teenager, actually. Yes, that's close. Thank you, babyface. Since I was a teenager, I kind of always knew it. It's the only thing I really came back to. So I was a b-boy and all kinds of crazy things, and a professional ping pong player. People don't know that, but I used to play professional ping pong. I was ranked number 2, Svet. We'll just keep it at Svet. And yeah, and I really knew when I was super duper duper young. Hey, by the way, guys, if you wave at me, I'm gonna try to wave at you back. But that is just me today. There is no Manny in the room. There is no my daughter holding the camera. It is just me. And there he is, Urijah Faber, everybody. Urijah Faber, everybody. Urijah Faber, everybody. Urijah Faber, everybody. Okay, how do I go live with this guy? Let's see. Urijah, go live with me, and let's see. I think I'm waiting to get a request from my brother Urijah. Let's see. Urijah. There he is. I'm going to ask him to go live with me. So waiting for Urijah right now, and then we'll get into everything. But yeah, there he is.
Hey,
California kid.
what's up, buddy?
How you doing, brother? Oh, it looks
Doing good.
nice
Just
there,
trying to
huh?
find the
It's
spot. Put my
okay.
shirt on here.
You don't need to put the
I mean,
shirt
we'll
on
see.
because it's kind of in your nature to be shirtless. All
Yeah, it is.
90% of your pictures that we found, my graphic designer's like, well, they're all without a shirt. I was like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been on this quarantine. I would say 90% of the time with no shirt on, 70% time with no pants or shorts on. You know,
I'm sorry, did
trying to
Gavin
stay
Newsom say
free.
that or did you say that? No, I'm kidding, because Gavin Newsom
He
wants to
should.
be
You're supposed to talk at 12, huh?
Yep, so to talk at 12 and see where we are. What's up, Cody No Love? Obviously, great
No
friends with
love.
Urijah.
Cody's
Cody No
flying
Love in
in
the house.
too. We'll
This
be
is
there.
a
We
this is
should go
unbelievable.
live and get Cody knocking dudes out in the gym real quick at 2.
Is that what he's doing?
No, he's a good
Okay.
partner. He's not going to knock anyone out.
Don't knock him. He's a
But
dangerous
he's
man.
working hard at 2, that's for sure.
So let's talk about that for a second, because what we know that you own a lot of gyms, not just your gym, which is gorgeous in Sacramento that I've been to that I love. What's going on with your businesses? Because Urijah, you were one of the few, and certainly the early adapter of really taking your career and your fandom and transforming it, metamorphosizing it into an amazing post UFC career.
It's been, people always think it's this glorious thing being a business guy, but it's a lot of friggin' work. So, especially right now, something like this hits, and you're left holding the bag. So we've got 3 gyms in Sacramento, 1 in Rockland, 1 in Folsom. We got Urijah Faber's Ultimate Fitness right here in Midtown or in East Sacramento. and it's wild, dude. We've been shut down, and it's just uncharted waters. So just trying to do our best to stream online, to keep our community strong, to make sure the guys like Cody that are hopefully going to be fighting here soon, and Darren Elkins and some of these other guys are getting what they need just within the boundaries of what we're supposed to be doing to stay safe with everyone, and you know, being intelligent about how we're going to come out of this, and what it's going to look like. A lot of people are going to go under. The gym business, especially the little boutiques, are going to have a really hard time, and I feel for them, and know the struggle is real. So it's a wild time, but you know, the strong will have to get creative and survive and find new ways, and that's what I plan on doing.
What do you think Newsom's going to say today? Because I'm interested. I feel like Newsom is very. I think he loves the limelight. He loves the stage. He loves. He just, you know, he loves it.
Yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time getting to know him as an individual, as far as like even paying attention. You know, I haven't like really been too much into the politics, and at this point, you know, he doesn't. He's got a government job. He doesn't have too much to lose. He's getting all called out by the president. You know, on a sometimes weekly, sometimes daily basis, and he's, you know, he's got his career to think about. Um, Now, I think he is being cautious, overly cautious. We'll see. You know, I don't know if if this pandemic is you know, on the decline. I don't know if it's as bad as it is. A lot of people think that we have herd immunity here because it already blew through California without all the hoopla, and
You
and
know,
yeah,
and we also have had a tremendous amount of direct flights from LAX to Wuhan. And in addition to that, there's a lot of people, a lot of my friends and family who think that they had this
yeah,
right around January. When I was at NAM, it seemed like a lot of people, my boy DJ Kubert, my mom, my daughter, they said that they already had this because they had the same symptoms: dry cough, high chills, fever, sore throat. So it seems like perhaps this passed through California at an earlier time.
yeah. That's what I you know, and I have my good buddy Paul out in LA. We had a place together out there, and he was like, hit me up and said, it's official. I have, you know, tested positive for COVID.
COVID
3
19.
weeks ago is when I had the symptoms, and
Wow.
he he had a fever for 2 days. He had a little bit of a lingering cough, um, but at the end of the day, he did pretty well with it. So, and I've had maybe 6 or 7 people that have actually tested positive for it, and then a whole bunch of people that thought they had it in January, in December, and in February, and even in December. Um, so I mean, it's a scary thing. So it's something that we don't know about. It's you know, it makes you look at the rest of the stuff. Like, shoot, you're looking at how many people die in pools each year, and then you're looking at the flu. The flu, 49 million people had the flu, and 54,000 died in the U.S. from the flu. I had no clue. I mean, I don't like to get the flu. It sucks, but I didn't know that it was such a scary thing. And then you kind of peel back the details, and you're finding, you know, people with obesity are more at risk, and then the average age, I think, is 85 or something of the people that are really having adverse risk to having, you know, death and serious effects. So it's a scary thing, but we have to really take a look at the details and say, okay, what's the best way to deal with this as a community, as a nation, and in the world, and everyone's just doing their best.
And so, just to answer, Las Vegas gambling king is like Hattie knows herd immunity. That was actually written in the LA Times, I believe, where there's not 100% fact, but I think herd immunity is defined by 60% of the population getting it. But we don't know, and that is the reality. And people are saying, can you get it a second time? The likelihood of that is pretty low. I think there are definitely people that get it the second time, but most people create antibodies. They think. Once again, you really don't know anything about this, and that's why we're in complete uncharted waters.
Yeah, and if you talk about uh, can you get it again? Absolutely, you can get the flu again, but it changes each year. That's why they do the vaccination for the flu, and it's like, I think it's Jaslyn is kind of up on the research. She said like it's 20% effectiveness because the flu changes and morphs and has all these little things that happen that make it hard to pin down. So I doubt that you're going to be immune forever from it, but the chance of you getting it 2 times in a row in the same season are probably less likely if it's anything like the flu. I don't know.
Okay, so let's move on to very happier pastures and talk about you. By the way, usually this is a drawing show, so usually you have to have a pencil and a pad. So at one point, we're going to ask you to grab one. Um,
I got
but
one in my office. My office is right here. I'll go get us
cool.
prepped for it.
Yeah, just get prepped for it because we're going to do a couple little things. There's no other drawing show, Uriah, but this show in the world. Who knows? Maybe there's a million, but I don't think that there are. Actually, had your boy David Garibaldi on the other day.
Yeah, dude, I saw that. Dude,
That
this
was
has been
cool.
a hectic time. I apologize for not responding. I thought I sent a response to that, but Garibaldi's my man.
No, that's cool. We actually buried the hatchet. It was nice. It was a really cool session. It was nice.
That's good, man. Remind me again of the details on that thing, because I know.
Garibaldi was a young artist that I hired on. Everybody out there who's your fan, I don't know that they're like, who the hell is this guy? But I'm Justin BUA. I'm a painter. Dude, did you ever see my? Oh, it's gone. Never mind. Oh no, here it is. I have one of them. Here's my Kobe Bryant that I did.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that one. I painted Kobe. That's actually a print of it. Garibaldi, I hired him on EA Sports to do a thing for me, and then he went off and kind of like what I thought copied my style, and I was irritated and aggressive, and it was You know what I mean? It was like you guys have fights and we have art wars, right? So I was like,
that's
this
awesome.
guy's a fucking copycat. He's an idiot, and then. Truth be told, he was just really hungry and young and aggressive and tenacious and went for his. And people say, and now he's ventured off into his own amazing career and he's done his own thing. And he's just really such a nice, kind guy. And he's a real guy. And I feel like he's authentic. You got to let shit like that go. I mean, I'm sure you've had beef with, I've seen, you have real life beef with people for years.
And then you let it pass. I mean, it is what it is. But the cool thing is, and I see a lot of similarities in you and David, first off, just positive attitude and then work ethic. I mean, it takes to be successful and stand out in something, especially in what you guys are doing, is rare, very rare. Same with my world. And, for you guys both to accomplish that, and the fact that he took inspiration from you, I don't know if that's the case per se, but I think that was
he did. But it's fine. He used to write me. He used to write me fan mail.
All originality is borrowed. I mean, I remember watching Sakuraba and Dan Henderson and Randy Couture and Tito Ortiz and Vitor Belfort and like those are the guys. And now then I'm sharing the space with them and being on the same cars and everything else, and it's a pretty cool time.
Yeah, no, look, everybody's inspired by everybody. When he was young, he wrote me fan letters, which was so cool. And that's why I hired him. I gave him a great gig on EA Sports NFL Street because I developed NBA Street and then NFL Street. And he actually did the best job of any of the people that I hired. And he was the youngest. So I was like, whoa, this kid's really good. And he's hungry. That's what you look for. You look for somebody who's hungry. I'm sure the same thing. I always compare painting to fighting because I feel like it's so similar. Like, you need so many facets, so many skill sets, and you need to be hungry.
Yeah.
So we buried the hatchet. We buried the hatchet a while ago, but everything's cool now. It's all good.
Cool, man. That's awesome. He's a great dude.
Yes. So you're right. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then we're going to move on to a couple more questions. But wait a minute. Who is the guy that you had the most beef with historically in your career? Like the most beef?
Dominic Cruz, for sure. I think.
Oh, God. Did that ever get crushed?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
We're cool. I mean, he won the trilogy. I won the first one. He won the second one, which was a very close one. Then he won the third one definitively. So I thought I won the second one, but it wasn't like it was I got ripped off. It was like depends how you watch the fight. Mm-hmm. And he's a very disciplined guy. He's got a lot of success on his own right. And I think for a long time, it was him feeling like, I was the guy that was kind of the poster boy and everything else, and he wanted his, and I feel like he's got his, and we've squashed the beef. Although we'll probably still see each other with teams, as the teams go on, his crew and our crew and everyone else. There's still going to be that.
I feel like he's actually a really, really solid commentator. He's smart. Like that, it's almost like that fits him better than anything, as great of a fighter as he was.
Yeah.
I feel like the way he can break down and analyze something, he's got really good, like, MMA IQ. He can see things, break it down, and be able to articulate it in an eloquent way. I think almost like that's his thing, like announcing, like commentating. That is because that's a good thing for him. Smart.
Yeah, I haven't watched too much. I mean, I know when he does actually call the fights, I think he does a great job. And actually, we used some of his stuff because he was what was it, Miles Jury.
Mm-hmm.
That was his old teammate, and we had one of our guys that was going to fight Miles Jury, and so we watched some of the old commentary of Dominic, basically giving us a bunch of insight to. That's what he does. He does this and he does that. We're like, oh, thanks, Dom. Turned in your boy.
Are you're done with fighting, right?
No, not necessarily. I have.
Because every time I see you, I say,
Yeah, you made fun of me before I came out. You were down with me in Sacramento, and you're like, bro, you sound like a 40-year-old guy that's trying to talk himself into that you should do it. And I was
and
like,
then you won, and then you won that, and then you won that fight.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had my fastest victory and clean KO.
Well, that's because here's why. Because you're such a good-looking dude. You got a great thing going with your family life. You know how it is, man. It's that
you're
right
on. I appreciate what you said that day,
dude. It's the one last fight you take.
But you don't listen to people that tell you not to do stuff. You don't. I don't. Anybody that is crazy enough to achieve big shit, you just do what you want to do anyways. But I do appreciate where your heart was when you said, dude.
Well, kids, they're getting younger, they're getting faster, they're getting better. We're getting older. And look, I'm in the game of creating paintings. That's my game, and my game is, I can continue to do that. I'm just saying for you, just to keep you're just also such a good business person, likable. Like I get it. And listen, I'm not a fighter. I totally get. Well, done years of jiu-jitsu, and I would say I'm definitely not a fighter. But I would say, it's just even looking at my daughter. My daughter's been doing jiu-jitsu.
Say what's up to the Watt.
Yeah.
I'm seeing all these people. Sorry. All these people saying hello. What's up, everybody?
I hate watching my daughter get injured. She's been doing jiu-jitsu since she was 7 years old and wrestling in high school. Man. She's a savage. But as you get older, I'm just like, she wants to quit wrestling this year, and I was like, fine, just quit wrestling. It's I totally get it. Yeah. Anyway,
is she gonna quit?
She's gonna quit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not
jiu-jitsu, but wrestling. Dude, it's been brutal on her body, dude. It's crushing her.
I'll tell you this about wrestling. First off, the lessons she's learned from wrestling
are
going to stick with her for life. So that's all you really wanted.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, and I have a daughter now, and I wouldn't necessarily want the wrestling life for my daughter into national and international and going for the Olympics and stuff. It's a hard life, and it's not easy. And she's a beautiful young girl, and it's a brutal thing. There's all sorts of stuff that's right about now. If it was her passion, that's what she wanted to attack, absolutely. But she's learned the lessons of a hard grappling round in the wrestling world. So, and she'll take that with her for the rest of her life. And
it's just it's not fun watching her. I saw her get concussed twice. Not fun. Same for you. Just obviously, I know you want to fight. My whole point to you is that when a lot of people have no choice, they need a paycheck to pay the mortgage because they're about to go. But you're not one of those guys. I understand it. Look, imagine if Ali had taken less fights. Where how long would he have been able to hold off his onset of Parkinson's?
Right.
Same with other people. It's addictive. I get it. It's addictive when you're you know, it just is. So it's hard to see your friend. I watch you, and you know, you're getting a little older. You might lose a step, and that little
Yeah. Well, I
explosivity.
definitely feel like my last fight's a good example of it. You know, I fought the number 3 guy in the world who's like
Tell
the
everybody
up
who that is, so people know. Like,
Peter Yan. He's you know, the guy that Slayton is one of the next big guys. I mean, he's not the most marketable guy. He's kind of, you know, I mean, I was 26, but I was never disrespectful punk, and he's been teetering on that at times. But you know, he's very tough. Trains his ass off. He's got a strong skill set. He's from Siberia, this and that. And I took that fight as, first off, it was a jockeying fight to say, look, I take that fight and I win that fight. I'm in a very, very good position. I was already in a pretty good position, and I kind of, my thing is like my mom, for example, ran a half marathon at 62 or
oh wow,
63 on her birthday.
wow.
She never ran. She wasn't a runner. She just
Mm.
decided to do it, and she's, you know, you know, bigger for where she'd like to be, and just did the challenges to do it. Didn't even really tell us. She said, "Hey, I'm doing this thing, but you know, I'm hating it." She hated the whole process, and she accomplished something that she didn't do just to do it. For me, it's still something I really love to do. I'm really, really good at it. My body is still intact because I've taken care of myself. I actually, you know, a lot of those guys, like you mentioned Muhammad Ali, you know, they start boxing at a very young age. Those greats are fighting each other as kids and as amateurs and this and that. And they've had hundreds of sparring matches before each match. And then they have hundreds of amateur fights. And then they have their pro fights. And they're just getting hit in the head over and over and over again. I didn't start fighting until after I graduated college when I was 23, almost 24 years old.
Yeah,
And most of my wins at the beginning were I took little to no damage. I mean, I guess, and I wasn't even training properly, like doing the proper boxing like I should have.
yeah,
That didn't happen until I was like 27 or so, or 26, where we
yep.
were sparring a couple times a week. And then on top of that, I happened to be a gifted athlete and one of the best in the world. So I was, you know, I've been in a lucky position. Basically, what I'm saying is to maintain my brain and my health, and be a guy that can fight into uh, my older years. And I'm doing it because, first off, the margins of fighting are awesome. I love it. It's a great way to make some cash doing something that you're really passionate about. I know that there's an absolute stop time where you say, "Hey, I will not be able to fight again," you know, at this time, you know. And I'm not at that point right now, but it's coming quickly, you know.
So
Uh,
you want to take one more fight?
I had a thing where I had 4 fights left on my contract at 40,
Okay.
and I waited till I was 40, and I said, I want to try to do 4 fights, but 4 fights at 40. And I'm 2 fights in, so I might do one, I might do two, I might do none. We'll see. But I'm going to
Okay.
stay in great shape, and I'm going to continue to do the business and everything else.
Um. Okay.
But
Well,
we'll see. I don't know if I'll fight again, but I definitely have to compete, whether it's in the gym or it's doing jiu-jitsu matches or whatever. It's just part of what I do, and so you know,
I
I'm
saw
doing
you
whatever I
fight the
can.
Meow brothers, one of the Meow brothers,
Yeah, I
right?
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Nikki
In the
Ryan.
jiu-jitsu. Oh, how was that with Nikki? That
It
guy's
was
tough as
good.
hell.
It was he wanted a decision. We went, you know, I was kind of aggressive with the guy. He had a couple attempts on my ankle that were good. You know, it's funny because we had rolled prior just briefly at the
Mm-hmm.
UFC training center, and I
Mm-hmm.
caught him with some stuff, or I caught him with one thing, and he caught me with some stuff. And so we knew each other going into that match, and he had a game plan based on us rolling, and I had a game plan based on that rolling. So it was, you know, more of a, you know, I played his game and kind of let it develop, but it was fun. I think that's the number one grappling match on UFC Fight Pass that anybody's watched.
Wow. Well, that's not surprising. Ryan's a beast. You're a beast. I mean, and his older brother is, he's a
Yeah,
whole
he's
other.
man. I love those
He,
guys.
yeah, no, they're incredible. Okay, Uriah, what's your favorite color?
I think like probably like a green. but it has to be a certain kind of green, like one that kind of pops.
Okay, like a saturated green.
Like a, yeah, I don't know how to say. I have shirts that are my favorite green, or I've had shirts that are my favorite green, and yeah, I can't always find it. But I like
What
earth tones.
earth tones? Good, me too. Who is your favorite artist? And don't feel shy to say me, that's totally fine. But besides me, well, let's just assume it. Okay, who else?
uh, Besides you and David Garibaldi, that's tough. You
Good.
know, I like I like some of Salvador Dali stuff. He's super unique and weird, and his stuff doesn't make sense. And like, but you can also tell that not anyone can do it. You know, I like artists that you're like, okay, I definitely know that I can't pull that off, and and he's a guy like that. So like the stuff that like I'm not super into abstract stuff if I feel like I could do it myself.
Mhm.
You
No,
know,
Dali is up there. And Dali was such a mouther of his time that surrealism was a movement, but people only associate Dali with surrealism. So they said, Dali, you can't just run with it and say like this is you. Like you came into surrealism and then you started doing what we were doing, and he goes, "What are you talking about? I am surrealism." So that's what happened with Dali. So Uriah, now, okay, the last question before I ask you to do something. What is, you think, your greatest contribution to the world?
oh, as of now, just my baby. You know, that's she's 13 months now, and man, she's a joy. She brings family together and puts smiles on people's faces, and hopefully we can train her up to make the world a better place.
There you go. Okay, brother. Did you draw as a kid?
Yeah, I love drawing as a kid. And I actually just found some pretty piss poor uh, self portraits that I had done during college
Oh, wow.
without a grid because I can do well with a grid,
Mm-hmm.
but that's kind of like training wheels for art. And
Hey, Michelangelo used a grid to grid the Sistine Chapel, so it's not a bad thing.
yeah, and I'll show you guys a piece of that. I showed you the piece before. I got it framed right here.
All right.
Oh no, I don't have it framed right here. It's downstairs. I'll walk and talk.
Okay. Walk and talk. You can't get away from the drawing, though. You can run, but you can't hide. Faber, run that. Who
And I
wins
showed you
crew
this
and me?
before. I think I showed you this before, right?
I think so.
This is my first drawing I've done since I was 17 years old. Or no, in 16 or 19 years.
Oh, let me see.
See it?
Back up from that. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You did show me that.
That's Jaslyn. Let's see if I can do that. I gotta say, that's one of my better things I've done. So it's not like I've just this guy said Uriah Gaber. Good one, buddy. Okay.
Hey, people,
There we go.
that's cool. So what is
Yeah, and
that?
you actually gave me some critiques on the shading and stuff
Look at
that
that.
you noticed. I can't remember exactly what they were, but you could probably do it again right now.
Oh no, I'm not here to
There's that.
I'm
We'll
not
go in
here
my
to
garage. I literally just found this in a box. I was trying to clean out my garage.
let me see.
It's one of art. Here we are.
I just
Garage.
pinned somebody who said that portrait is incredible.
Oh,
People are loving. People are loving it.
yeah,
Oh wow, look at you.
that was me when I had a bald head and I was doing. That was
Wow.
in
Look at
college.
that. That's
That's without
funny.
the grid. Let me see. That's
Look
probably
at
the best.
this. See, people don't know that Uriah draws. How about that?
I wish I had more time to draw. I've got a guy on our team, David, or here we go. That
There
looks
he
more
is.
like you.
It does look a little bit like a
This one
young
looks
me.
terrible. That looks like Bambi.
It's very weird, but I like it. Looks like Bambi. That's funny.
That's another one.
Hey, my boy Johnny Utah, who's an artist, is on here. Can you believe, Johnny? Look at all these drawings that Uriah is doing, man.
Well, that was 20 years ago when I was in college, and I probably look a
That's
little bit more
cool.
like that than I do now. You know, I'm older now. But there's that.
A
Let me
little
see if
bit.
I have another. There's that one. The hair was growing back.
See,
So
crown and roots. He's really talented. Look at that. That's crazy. So what? So if you go to your pad and draw something that you used to draw as a kid. So, like for example, I have everybody do this. So some people do a a Stussy S. Other people do a profile. Some people do a car, a doodle dog. Everyone had that one thing as a kid that they drew, right?
yeah, I used to draw roses
You want to do one of those?
and used to draw my hand.
Let's do that.
Okay. So which one should
Either
I pick?
or. I painted, by the way, I painted I painted my buddy Rhetmatic on cam. Ooh, you can't see anything, so it doesn't make any sense. I had my boy on, who's a famous DJ, Rhetmatic, and I painted
Oh,
him
nice.
live. I did a live painting of him the other night. So I do a lot of sessions too, Uriah, where like I'll just paint and we got a DJ. DJ Kubert is
Yeah,
coming on Saturday night. He's going to be spinning. I'm going to be painting.
that's
Uh,
badass. I love that.
yeah, it's fun, man. We have a good time. All right, whatever you want to draw. See, this
So
is
yeah,
what
what was your thing that you used to draw as a kid?
I'll do one now. My thing. I used to just draw like portraits out of my head, crazy faces all the time, and I'll do one.
Oh,
I'll just draw whatever. In fact, I have
oh,
to hold the camera and draw like this.
you know what I used to do also is just those ribbons. You know, you learn how to do those ribbons, and then you learn how to do buildings where you put the two perspectives, like the single dot in the middle and then the two dots on the side. I used to draw that stuff a lot too. So do some of
Draw
that.
whatever, and I'm just gonna draw whatever as well. Usually, Uriah, draw with two hands, but I have nobody holding my camera.
Cold hearted.
Yeah, it's cold-hearted as shit. I'm on my own, baby.
You're on your own.
On my own, baby. Uriah, I've known you for many years now.
I know it's been a while. It's crazy when you start thinking about how long ago. Oh, how long ago was that? I was talking to one of my best friends, Tommy, who helps run my life, and I was talking about it, something in particular about when it was, and he's like, dude, remember so and so, so and so? It was 20 years ago. I'm like, man, that's how you know you got good friends and that you're getting a little bit older.
Yep, man, we're all getting older. I want to come visit you. I want to come see your spot in Sacktown.
Yeah, you know what? I'm building out this office to be a little media room so that I can start doing stuff like this and really hitting the podcast and you know start having some more content for folks and so that's
By the way, guys, and my fans who are on here, I see a lot of you guys on there. You could tell that I am never holding the camera when I do this. So I only like to draw with two hands, but I'm drawing with one
incredible.
just to be for shits and giggles. I'm just doing a face because I used to only do faces as a kid. And now, lo and behold, I'm only doing faces again as an adult. Hey, I was doing a live podcast with Brittany yesterday. She's an artist and she was drawing.
Oh,
And
nice.
she actually mentioned you. I wanted to tell you this as one of her 5 favorite fighters of all time.
Dude, that girl's like family, man. She's, you know, it's funny because I have this old goals or quotes list that I had on my wall. I've had it on my wall for like 12 years, and it's just basically a bunch of my favorite, maybe longer, maybe 15 years. So I had it in college. No, shit, longer than that, maybe 18, 20 years. And I just, you know, put a bunch of my favorite sayings like, if you don't like the direction of the water, don't jump in. Those that can't handle drugs turn to reality. The harder you work, the luckier you get. All that kind of stuff. And just some cliche little things I liked throughout the years. And I had a big ass party at my house one time after a fight in Sacramento, and Palmer was there. She was probably 19 or 20, maybe 21 at the time. And that quote that says, those who can't handle drugs turn to reality, she wrote by it, except Mary Jane, with a smiley face.
That's funny.
She's awesome.
Uriah, do you get into Mary Jane? Do you smoke weed? What are your thoughts on that? It's legal, so you don't have to feel.
I don't really.
Okay.
Not that I haven't, but it's not a part of my regular world, just because I'm not good functionally on it. I can't really I can't function, and I need to be functional. I got too much stuff going on. I would do it recreationally if I had more time for recreation and I felt like I got something out of it. But at this point, I just don't have I don't have it in me. I do use some CBD for sure, and I do some every once in a while. I'll have like a little piece of an edible if I can't sleep. My girl made me take it a couple different times. I don't feel anything from it, but it helps me sleep somewhat. So I'm not opposed to it. And if I was out on a boat and like out camping with a bunch of my buddies, which I never have been in the last 20 years, and for the camaraderie, my buddy's like, hey, let's smoke some weed. I would probably do that with nothing to do, but
Okay,
it's not part of my
you
regular
and
day.
I will get high because I smoke weed. Contrary to you,
Okay.
I'm definitely a weed smoker.
True story. Cody Garbrandt, he's a big advocate of marijuana and all the positive things it does for him and whatnot. And I told him a long time ago, he wanted me to smoke them. I said, look, when you win the world championship, I'll smoke with you.
There you go.
And he remembered that like a mofo and just was on me about it. And I was putting it off, which, no. And then he's like, you said, and I said, well, we got some of the younger guys here, and I don't really want to.
You were a little afraid.
Yeah, I just, Cody's somebody I love Cody, but I'm trying to always be a positive guy for him, and I don't necessarily think it's the most conducive for what we're trying to do all the time. Not that everyone agrees with that.
Well, I would say that Nate and Nick Diaz have done a great job smoking weed and kicking ass.
There's a lot of people. John
Yeah.
Jones, TJ Dillashaw.
I think we just leave it. I think we just leave it at John Jones. I'm take a second to take a break, but I have a lot to say about John Jones. Do you think that John Jones is the greatest fighter of all time? Is he the greatest fighter of all time, hands down? In basketball, my opinion is, and I don't know Uriah, I'm not bragging, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of my best friends. And I told Kareem this. He got very upset. I told him Michael Jordan is by far the greatest fighter of all time. And I feel like there's Michael Jordan and there's everybody else. Do you feel that about John Jones? I'm going to go back to my drawing as you talk.
I would say I can't say that necessarily. He's definitely one of the best. One of the problems is that, look, in this world of mixed martial arts, and Jones is one of the greatest of all times, absolutely, if not the greatest, sure, especially for his weight class. But you could make that argument for a couple different people. But in this day and age, and where we've been with the mixed martial arts world, it's not the greatest monetary sport to be in as an athlete. And
right.
When you look at the athletes in other sports that have dedicated their lives to football and basketball and some incredible gifted athletes, then you're seeing some of the top athletes on the planet. And so when I think of a guy like John Jones, he's absolutely one of those elite athletes, special athlete, special mentality, special upbringing and circumstances that have brought him to where he is. But you know, in his weight class, some of the best athletes on the planet are making real money, like his brother,
Right.
playing in the
His
NFL, playing
or his
basketball, and
brothers,
that kind of stuff.
plural. They're both incredible.
Yeah. So when you say that, hi
Yeah, that's true.
baby, there's my girl,
Yay.
and when you take that into account, then you're forgetting that a lot of the top athletes that he would be competing with are making big bucks in other sports because that's where the reward is. Now, as our sport gets more cash and we get more of uh, a life of of glitz and glamour, it's going to attract better and better athletes.
Right.
And but for his weight class, I think a lot of the best athletes on the planet are playing other sports. So there's some
Interesting.
incredible fighters. Like Jose Aldo has always been a guy that strikes me as one of the best. I mean, as a 12-year winning streak and the guys that he beat,
For
the
sure.
level that he did it, and the way he was able to carry himself for so many years, that was super impressive. Um,
GSP. Would you say GSP?
George St. Pierre for sure, and George St. Pierre on top of that, he's one of those guys that is like not necessarily a guy that I would consider like a fighter. He's like an athlete,
Yeah,
which is even bigger because I don't think like there's guys like Cody Garbrandt, for example. That guy loves a scrap. If he's gonna be in a fight, he wants to get punched and punched. And TJ Dillashaw's the same way. And I feel like
right.
there's other guys like that like enjoy the grime of it. I don't think that he's like that. I don't think Ortiz is like that. Chuck Liddell, he likes to scrap.
Yes, he
He's like
did.
a guy that likes to get nasty with a punch or
I think Gaethje. I don't think I've seen anybody like who really loves to get hit like Gaethje too. I mean,
there's yeah.
I mean, I
Gaethje's
feel like a guy like that is going to have a shortened career because of how much he
it's
likes to get
unfortunate.
smashed.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
Diaz, everyone's saying Diaz too. They're putting Diaz in the like to scrap. Those guys definitely like to scrap. I mean,
Yeah, they
but
do. But I mean, the Diaz brothers are in a different boat also because those guys really are fighting for a better life.
mm-hmm.
And like I've heard Nick talk about it a couple of times. He goes, "You think I like to fight?" He goes, "I hate fucking fighting. I hate this and that." He goes,
Wow.
"I mean, there's things he likes about it, but his point is like he's fighting for a better life, and it's a stressful thing for him, and he enjoys it. And he enjoys the grind, but like there's a purpose for his fighting. It's not just because he likes to scrap. And then some guys just like to scrap, and I'm like kind of a mix. Like my style hasn't been necessarily the most like knockdown drag out. I'm a hit and don't get hit kind of guy.
Yeah, but you do too. You're not you're not. I see what you're saying about GSP. There's something about GSP where you almost feel like it sickens him to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's something like I don't like to fight because it sickens me, and
yeah.
il y a des autres choses que je vais déjà faire. Want to I want to I'm trying to get the accent again because I'm going French, but I speak French, but I'm trying to go to Montreal. À Montréal, il parle comme ça. But I feel like he's like, no, it's true. Like you look at GSP, like I hate fighting. It's so strange because he's so goddamn good at it.
Yeah.
But it's true. He's an athlete. I feel like it makes him sick to hurt people. You're a little bit of you're a blend. You're a little bit of a murderer. You really are. You're kind of a
Yeah, I like a
weird.
good scrap. I mean, I remember
That's a
growing
weird
up for the
thing though
right
because
reason.
you just look like a nice California surfer dude, and you just like to fight. It's everything I wanted to do as a kid. I wanted to be a tough guy. I was always a painter and an artist, and but if I could do it all again, man, I'm telling you, your life is not a bad choice to take it. A good-looking guy who could fight.
That's
Very
awesome, man. Well,
weird.
thank you for that. I appreciate that.
No, but it's true. It's like having a good-looking guy that could fight is just so rare. Like usually dudes who could fight are always the fucked up dudes.
Well, you ever think about how like how basic survival stuff is and like the alpha male mentality and that kind of stuff is
Yeah.
you know a lot of times genetics go hand in hand with athletics and symmetry of the face and that kind of stuff. So you're seeing a lot of guys that are not necessarily great great looking, but they have the attributes of an attractive guy. Like the Gaston type on Beauty and the Beast, that kind of shit. Where it's
Yeah. It's so
no
funny that you brought
one,
him up. I
it's
was
like Gaston. No one hits
Gaston.
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 When I
Gaston.
was a boy, I'd eat 12 dozen eggs just to be sure I was strong.
Hey, let me see your. Okay, so anyway, my point is that I used to draw faces. I just did a face. You could. Oh, look at that. Let's see. Don Fry was the only few guys I knew that would single collar and try to knock out his opponent. Bro, Don Fry.
Don Fry.
He's a good example. He could have been He was a good looking dude who could have. He was good looking in like a Marlboro ad way,
Yeah,
right?
he
Like
was
the
he was
old.
a rhinestone cowboy.
Yeah, like you would have seen that dude in a 1975 billboard getting off a horse, smoking a cigarette like
Right.
I smoke Marlboros. And his mustache was so manly, but dude, Don Fry liked to fight.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I was on a card with Don Fry. He would drink beers right before and scrap guys and just
Have you seen the UFC did, they do those little specials on each one. You probably had one on you, but they have a little, it's like a 10-minute doc, and they had one on Where Is He Now? I think it's like Where Is He Now? And they
oh
had
my
one on Don
gosh,
Fry,
man.
bro. Holy shit, bro. That one was incredible. His stories. I mean, the stories that guy has are, I mean, all you guys, but the way Don Fry talked about it, he's like, that we were fighting when men were men. That he
Yeah,
says something.
dude. I had that guy when I was coaching the Ultimate Fighter. Uh, I just did a little half face
Let me
too.
see. Let's see.
I'm not
Yeah, buddy. And look, it looks like you too.
does it? No
Yes, it
no
does.
dimple. I got a dimple on the chin.
Okay, so I just did this guy who kind of maybe not look like me, but this is kind of where I'm
I think it
going in
looks
my
like
life.
you. I think it does look like
Yeah, probably. The
you.
distorted, fucked up BUA. But Uriah is the best fighter in the UFC. He made me fall in love with the sport. Yeah,
Oh,
I think a lot of people think you are the best. I mean, you were definitely one. You know what's funny? I was a fan, just to let you on, I probably told you this, but I was a fan of yours in the WEC days. I've been following this. I started jujitsu in about 92, Uriah, which sounds really. I started jujitsu, I think, before. I had this conversation with Eddie Bravo. I was like, bro, I started jujitsu before you. Imagine if I had stuck with it, because I kept going in and out of jujitsu. But I
yeah.
started jujitsu way back with the Gracie tapes. I used to dig in downtown LA at all the shops and grab all of those old school VHS tapes before the UFC was even happening. So like and then I was watching Pancras, and you forget about it, man. Jason DeLuca and
Oh,
Frank
bro.
Shamrock, Ken Shamrock, bro. I was so deep into this, like way, way, way long time ago. So I was a huge fan of the WEC, and you were like the golden child of the WEC. Jens Pulver, you, all of the guys, Anthony Pettis, and I was like your biggest fan back then. I was like, yo, this kid,
Dude.
man, California kid, bro, he's like a b-boy the way he moves, you know, because
I appreciate that.
I come from the b-boy world, and as you know, I don't know if you know this, but Crazy Legs just put me in Rocksteady Crew for life.
Hey,
Mm.
that's awesome.
So listen, you were a huge inspiration. And then when you came over to when the UFC uh, enveloped, digested, swallowed, bought, whatever you call it,
Well, they already own the WC. A lot of
they
people
already
don't know
did.
that. Well,
Oh,
they
I didn't
bought
know
it in
that.
2005 or six. It was just a one show on the Indian casinos in Hanford, California, at the Tachi Palace. It had one show, and then Reed Harris, who works for the UFC still, was the guy, and he was he sold it to the UFC, and the UFC is the one that put it on TV. And so the WC that everybody knows, that was always under Zuffa. So it was the only show at the time that really was a place for the guys of my weight, and it was owned by the UFC. So that's why it's considered like, that was the championship at the time. So
Very cool.
And then they eventually merged them in 2011. Yeah.
So who is your then top 3 favorite fighters of all time? I know you're going to say Dan Henderson because I've heard you say that.
Yeah, I love Dan Henderson just because I feel like that guy's fought in multiple weight classes and just has been consistent through his whole career. I always liked Vitor Belfort also.
On steroids or off steroids?
He probably was on steroids, unfortunately, back then.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
on like horse tranquilizers.
He was else,
He was huge.
That was kind of the gig, but I like him. Just, I mean, talk about a lifetime warrior,
And what are your thoughts on Conor? Because I would say Conor and Ronda probably are the most popular.
Dude, Conor's a savage. I mean, the testament for Conor is this. Jose Aldo, in my opinion, was one of the best guys ever. And, it wasn't luck because Conor has done that before. And it's also not luck because that's what he trains to do is knock people out. But the fact that he was able to do what he was able to do against Aldo, even though I would have loved to see that not happen the way it did, is pretty incredible. Now, would that happen every single time they fought? Who knows? But at the end of the day, like, Conor's super impressive, man. I mean, he beat Chad Mendes, and he beat a lot of guys that you wouldn't otherwise think.
Yeah, no, he's incredible.
I didn't think he was able to beat Chad or Aldo, to be honest. I thought he was gonna have trouble. There's a couple other guys that I was like, dude, he's not gonna get past this guy. But
you got Pat. Yeah, no, and he did it by talking shit the whole way through, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Look, Conor is one of the. I think he's also like GSP, just an incredible athlete. He's just a smart athlete. Yeah. His IQ is really high. Yeah. I don't know personally if he ever will, be able to beat Khabib. I just feel like he won't.
Dude, Khabib's a savage. Khabib's like a grinding machine when it comes to the grappling side of things. So it's one of those things where it's a very bad matchup, and I think Chad was a bad matchup for Conor also. Conor survived an early onslaught. It was a short notice fight, and then prayed on a guy that was fatigued and got him. But at the end of the day, Conor, what he's been able to do is pretty incredible.
And would you throw Khabib up there as one of the greatest of all time?
I think that's yet to be seen once he goes against some other guys. It's you don't throw around that name, that greatest of all time, unless a lot of time has gone by.
28 fights though. 28-0.
Yeah, but how many of those fights were before the UFC? That's
a lot.
Yeah, you got to take that into consideration too. But I mean,
have you wrestled with him ever? Have you ever trained with him?
No, I haven't.
Have you known guys that have, and any insight on that?
I think he's a big guy. I think he's a really big guy. So I think that, I'd be a bit disadvantaged. If he was a big guy and not as good of a grappler, then that would be a different story. Mm-hmm. But,
he's a big guy and a freaking great grappler.
And the best in the world. So I would love to go with him. They're only right down the way. So I might make it down there at some point.
You got to do that and videotape it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like who went to grapple with who was that? Who grappled with who's the great jiu-jitsu guy? Marcelo Garcia. Who went over there and just rolled with him and was like, "Oh my God, oh yeah, that the big chin guy with the curly hair who got knocked out by the knee. What's his name? Freaking
Ben Askren.
Ben Askren, he just kept getting choked out and getting choked out, getting choked out, getting choked out. There's like levels to all games, right? Levels to jiu-jitsu,
Ben
levels to
Askren
wrestling.
hasn't taken jiu-jitsu as serious as he should, I don't think either.
Yeah.
Nor the striking game, as you know.
Yeah. Thank you,
You know.
Johnny Utah. Little late to the game, though, Johnny.
I don't think all
Jesus.
eyes on. He's got Askren in there too.
Hey, Masvidal. I'd put Masvidal now as one of the best. I mean, that guy's incredible, man.
He's good. I mean, what they're starting to do now is they find the guys that are great matchups and they kind of keeping them in a sphere.
What's going to make the money? What are people going to buy
Right.
tickets for? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, how's the
Hey,
popularity?
you guys are going to see our boy that popped on here, Cody Garbrandt. I mean, as his focus and energy and getting himself to the point where he won against Dominic Cruz, who's another one who's one of the one of the guys that's mentioned in that circle.
Cody's an absolute beast.
Cody's got a reignited fire. He's got a healthy body. He's only 28 years old, and he's got a little chip on his shoulder. So I'm really excited from what I've seen from him lately. I mean, he's training today a little bit later at the gym, but Cody he's going to be up there, I think.
Okay, cool. Well, I can't wait to see Cody. I'm a big Tony Ferguson fan too. Urijah, he's a freaking animal.
Dude, so entertaining.
I'm so sad that fight didn't happen. I couldn't believe Dana didn't buy it.
Yeah, is he still trying to buy the island? I heard that's still trying to be happening. Is that a diversionary tactic? Like, what's going on?
I have no idea.
Come here, Callie. Come over here. Come say hi to Daddy. I'll show you guys the baby.
Okay, show us the baby. Urijah, we have 3 minutes until we get disconnected. And I know you're still working on your drawing.
Yeah. I moved on to do a little rose since that was my thing I drew as a little kid.
Oh, nice.
Still looks like a little kid drew it, but you know.
Tony versus Khabib, so sad. Yeah, it's never going to happen. That's more GSP. If you have to be like that, I want to fight Urijah in the championship. En ce temps, je vais combattre Urijah Faber. He is amazing, beautiful chin. That's a GSP for you, okay?
Here's my
Oh,
here she is. Say hi, Callie.
Hi.
Say hi.
Cutie.
What's a doggy say? What's a cow say? What's a lamb say? What's a cat say? Oh.
Oh.
What's an owl say? What?
Wow.
What's an owl say? What's a horse say? That's right.
Wow. She's got I have a 17-month-old, so I do the same thing. I'm like, okay, get over here. How do you say, you know what I mean? So let's say hi to the wife, too. Have the wife jump in the screen here. I can hear her off camera.
Come say hi. Come say hi. Come say hi. Here she is. It's all springtime.
Hi, Jazz. How are you? Well, the baby looks just like Jazz.
Yeah.
Thank God, right, everybody?
Thank goodness, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always say about my kids. Thank God they didn't get my looks.
And what's up with your daughter now? She's going to be competing, or what's she into? Is she getting into the art? What's happening?
No, she's doing. She's into cosmetic dermatology, and
Really?
yeah, and she is not. She is. She's going to quit wrestling and she'll continue with jujitsu, but no one's doing jujitsu right now. So Eddie Bravo Studios, she trains at 10th Planet, and she was she shut down over there, and just gonna see what happens, bro, with everything. Right. We'll see what happens with it. We'll see what Newsom says. Hopefully he won't be, continuing this so he could have more camera time.
Do you think that's what's going on?
I think he's
what kind
I think
of
he could be a little.
Have you been taking, man?
Listen, man, I am in my studio 24 hours a day anyway. I'm living the great life. I go on walks every day. I think we have only a couple seconds left, but it's important to boost your immune system, to get sunshine every day, and don't be fearful. So don't get into the fear porn. I'm not into fear porn. I'm into just feeling the best ever every day, drawing to raise your vibration and doing anything you can do.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm into just raising your vibration. So we're going to get cut off.
Here's my little
All right. And here's mine, bro. And we're getting cut off in 20 seconds, bro.
All right, brother. Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'm glad
you
and Garibaldi squashed the beef.
Yes, Garibaldi is amazing. I love it. We're actually going to do a collab. We're doing a collab.
Dude, that's awesome. If you
All right,
need
bro.
someone to draw a third grade rose in there, I could put one right in the corner.
You're doing a great job. All right, Uriah. I love you, brother.
All right, guys. Bye bye.
Peace.